Welcome back to the Pick 199 podcast. I'm here with Muzzy, Snako,
Sup?
Coxie D,
Hey, boys.
episode 60, boys, and we're back into the NFL for game 10 of the NFL of 18.
You mean week 10?
Week 10, game 10. It's all the same. We'll be right.
It's not game 10 because there was more than 10 games.
Miami Dolphins had a 22-10 win over the Baltimore Ravens. There was a few upsets this week, actually, now that I think about it, with the Dolphins getting the win over the Ravens being one of them. What happened here, boys?
Ravens played like shit.
Very good. Let's move on then. Bills got the 45 points to 17 win over the Jets. Bills back in.
On the Dolphins though, it looks like Chua's hurt himself again.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it looks like he'll be out for even longer. And who knows what's going to happen? Like that team's up and down every week, and the Ravens they had a lot of injuries and health protocols, but yeah, still should beat the Dolphins considering their form.
Yep,
absolutely.
It hurts the Ravens because they're a chance of pushing in there, but losses like this aren't going to help.
Especially in a really tough division. Really important win.
Especially against a team that they should be beating too.
Yeah.
No, and as I said before, Bills got the 45 points to 17 win over the New York Jets. Again, the New York Jets just don't offer anything in any sort of facet for the NFL. Buccaneers lost to the Washington football team. What's going on with TV12, boys?
I don't know. Do you reckon he's getting a bit like it's a sort of, I know it's a short season compared to other games, but do you think he just had an off week? He sort of got a bit lazy, do you think?
I think so. Also at the same time, they sort of just cruised in last year. They just relied on getting in that wild card spot, and then from there they were just like, we'll just keep winning.
I think it's hard for a team just to keep winning week in, week out, to keep pushing for wins the whole time when they know they're good enough. I think some of those teams, they just sort of fall asleep at the wheel a little bit. And I mean, especially against the Washington football team. I mean, at the start of this game, you're betting all your money on the Buccaneers to pump them out of the park, really. And then
but the Bucs are going to finish at the top of their conference. They're going to finish at the top. So it's not really, they can afford to rest. They've got an older roster. They can start.
Well, that's it. They've got the Falcons and Saints in their division, so like they're pretty primed to be winning that division. And I think Carolina's in that division as well.
They're the clear favourite to come out. So they'll be fine.
No, very good. Cowboys get the 43 points to 3 win over the Atlanta Falcons.
Sure, that's a big scoreline.
Cowboys turning up the heat a bit.
Cowboys
front clear runners for that division that they're in.
Yeah, well, they're going to win that division by about 13 games. And they're turned in, like, they're a real Super Bowl threat this year, I reckon. I'm putting them up there.
Super Bowl, you think?
Well, I think they could be right at the top at the very end of the year. Yeah, right. I just think they can hurt you in so many different ways.
Mark that down, boys, because the fall for the Cowboys is starting right here.
It's going to be quick and rapid.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the Washington football team taking their spot
100%.
in the coming weeks.
No, but yeah, honestly, I think keep an eye on them.
That's absolutely disgusting coming from you, Snako. I thought you were a true Philadelphia fan.
And it hurts. It hurts to come out. It does. But I said it.
Look, I think this is a really good win for the Cowboys. I mean, it was against the Falcons team that I'm sure Roscoe will attest is just not there.
This is garbage.
They're just sort of not even within there. But I think it's at the same time, there's a couple of question marks about the Cowboys. They're still a little bit inconsistent. I think they're pushing for some high spots, but it's tough I think they really don't match up well, I think, against a lot of high-end teams is my only question mark with them. But with what Snakeo's saying, like I think they're up there. They're super competitive and they're looking strong this year. It's just a couple of times with Dak Prescott, it's just looked a little bit question mark. Not necessarily his talent, but just the team forming around him sort of just seemed to not have that same cohesion that you see in, like, for example, the Packers or so.
Or even the Rams this year too.
Yeah. Or the Titans, who's our next team.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Titans, we had Titans getting a 23-21 win over the New Orleans Saints. Tough win, but also the sort of win that we expect the Titans to pull out too, considering where the Saints are at the minute.
Yeah, 100%. Congratulations to Mark Ingram from the Saints, who is now the leading rusher in franchise history, in all franchise history. So that's a tremendous achievement. But the Titans look really good. So I've been on them for a few weeks, but yeah.
Definitely the surprise package from this year and look like they're going to continue it on.
Yeah.
Very good. Moving on, we had the Indianapolis Colts getting the 23-17 win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Important win for the Colts to keep their playoff dreams alive, but also another week for the Jags without a win.
I think it's a good sign that they're at least competitive. Like I was worried that they were just going to get blown out every game by a mile. They're starting to get competitive, which is good, but 2 wins in the season so far, it's not enough.
Well, I mean, they couldn't have gotten worse, could they?
No, that's it.
No, that's it. Moving on, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a 16-all draw with the Detroit Lions. Does that mean that Detroit has now just broken their loss streak by default?
I'm not willing to claim it.
No, I think, it will still be a winless streak.
I mean, the only thing you can take away from this is how poor the Steelers were not to get the win here, considering how poor the Detroit Lions have been all year.
Yeah.
Continuing that loss streak. So, I don't know if you're a Steelers fan, Muzzy.
Oh, I've been talking about it all. I've been talking about it all season. Like, it's just Band-Aids just trying to cover up. And I'm sure we'll be right in there in the wild card playoff spots, and it'll be delusional again for next year. So it's just trying to cover up Band-Aids on real big issues.
Moving on, we had the Patriots getting a 45-7 win over the Cleveland Browns. This was an absolute thrashing. I didn't see this scoreline coming at all.
Thought it'd be a bit closer. Absolute dominant performance for the Patriots. So.
Mac Jones had an absolute blinder.
Yeah, he's looking good for the Patriots. I mean, how do you go from having Tom Brady to getting a stud like Mac Jones?
Cam Newton in between, that's how.
Yeah.
No, very good. Moving on, we had the Vikings with a 27-20 win over the Los Angeles Chargers. Good win for the Vikings. Teams pretty even leading into the game. Not much to say other than well done to not the Chargers, the Vikings.
Yeah. Just before we move on, sorry boys. Thoughts on the Browns? I think since Odell's left, they're 1-1 now. Had a really good standout performance in their first game without him, and now they've just been absolutely blown out of the water by the Patriots. What do they need to do to get back to that super competitive form they were in?
Get Odell back, you reckon? No, I don't know. I think it's just it's going to take a little bit of time for them to readjust. Like, I know Odell hasn't played all that much for them, but he's still a world-class wide receiver. So,
yeah, I think the Browns fans are just sick of their team just being mediocre for so long. They had one breakout year, and then they thought it was just going to roll in.
Well,
It
even
just doesn't
before,
seem to be happening.
like even before they were sort of mediocre though, they were dog shit for the longest time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be frustrating as a Browns fan to have that, but it is.
Yeah, and
what
as
it
you were
is,
saying,
so.
Roscoe, like, you know, Beckham Jr. is a world-class receiver, and even if they're not hitting him, he's on the field and he's taking attention away from the other receivers they've got.
Exactly. He's
And-
like a feint for them sort of thing.
Yeah, and Browns are the type of team that'll beat you if you get 45, they'll get 48 kind of thing.
Yeah.
They just, couldn't seem to do it without him.
So is the answer to fire the defensive coach, start again?
Yeah, defense is where they need to build it from. Because even if you've got someone like Odell, he's not on the field in a game like this.
Yeah.
So that's where it needs to start for him.
Yeah.
No, very good.
I think they might have to let a rookie quarterback just tear him apart like that. If they want to be, if they're thinking they're Super Bowl or they're going to get somewhere close, you can't get torn to shreds like that by Mac Jones. He hasn't even played a full season.
Well, that's exactly it too.
Please.
And it's not like the Patriots have got like superstars on their team either at the minute. So
And it doesn't help that the Browns are in a tough division. Like they've got the Ravens in their division, they've got the Patriots, they've got the Steelers. I mean, and the Bengals. Like it's a tough division to be in. So
that's it. Well, moving on, we had the Carolina Panthers getting out a win against the Arizona Cardinals, 34 points to 10. This is one of the biggest
game
upsets.
back.
I know, and one of the biggest upsets of the round, I think, by far.
I think he had an awesome game too. I wanted to just check these stats, but so massive upset.
You wouldn't have seen this one coming.
So had a few rushing yards, not much. Panthers comparison week 10. Yeah, he filled in some time, but seemed to give him the lucky charm there.
It's a good story.
Yeah,
I think he deserves to finish his career as a Panther, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can go out on a high too.
I think this is probably the wake up call the Cardinals needed. I think we'll see him bounce back. I think I wouldn't be surprised, depending on who they play next week, if they blow that team out.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be them. I thought they got their wake up call a couple of weeks ago, but maybe they needed another one.
Yeah.
Oh, every now and again doesn't hurt like when they've been that good so far. But
it was only probably 2 weeks ago that they got upset, but wasn't it? So
yeah.
Moving on, we had the Philadelphia Eagles pulling out the win against the Denver Broncos, 30 points to 13. Stego.
Yep. Really good defensive effort. We had a one touchdown forced fumble by the defense to run it in. Fletcher Cox was back too, which is always really important for us. So he was being rested for the last couple of weeks, but he was back. So it's it's going to be a shit year, but it's good to get a win. There's some really impressive things in it. So it was a really nice touchdown catch. So yeah,
no, very good.
Really good.
Moving on, we had the Green Bay Packers getting a 17 points to 0 win over the Seahawks. Seahawks just haven't looked anything like previous years, and Packers just keep rolling on, looking really strong too. So
did DK Metcalf get ejected this game?
I'm not sure. I think possibly.
I think he did. I think he grabbed some bloke's face shield, like the mask.
Yeah.
And yanked it after a play, I think, as well.
Packers look scary, but because I think their defense is so strong, but their offense is also, they're probably one of the only teams, maybe apart from the Cardinals, they can do it on both ends.
Yeah.
Was Rodgers back for this game?
No, I think he was still suspended this game, wasn't he? Or was he back?
Let's have a look.
Like to do a 17-0.
Yeah.
Win without him, he wasn't playing.
Well, they definitely relied heavily on their defense for this game.
Yeah, but I'm just like, that's extremely impressive to do it without him. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he was back.
He did play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because he only got a fine. He didn't get suspended, which is, I don't know. pretty ridiculous, I think, in the end. But anyway,
it's hard when we're hearing our guidelines around sport are so hard,
so strict.
and then you watch American sport, you're like, the guy had COVID a week ago.
Yeah.
The guy lied about being vaccinated.
And lied about being vaccinated.
Yeah. Could you imagine what that'd be here? That'd be like a year in jail with like a $20,000 fine or something.
Yeah.
Or something nuts.
Yep.
But anyway, we move on. We had the Chiefs getting the 41 points to 14 win over the Raiders. Is this Chiefs back in
That's
Super Bowl
exactly what I was just about to ask. What is it like? Is it 2-3 in a row now?
Well, this is
Three, I think.
Pat's numbers. Pat's numbers from the weekend. He had 35 from 50 completions threw for 406 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, nuts.
And the big one,
Pat numbers, aren't they?
The big one, 0 interceptions. Don't see that often with a quarterback as aggressive as Pat Mahomes.
When you're getting over 400 yards.
400 plus yards without throwing an interception.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, he's super aggressive.
Incredible.
Yeah. So.
And that was the Kansas City that was expecting to see all year too. So
I'll tell you what, if I'm other teams coming up against those guys, whether they make it to the playoff wild card spot, I'm worried. I'm really worried.
Absolutely.
They're looking dangerous.
Big time. And it's good to see them back in that form though too, because for the longest time we were worried about that their dynasty sort of era was over too. So good to see them back in a winning circle. Yeah,
it's so
absolutely. And finally, we have probably the second biggest upset of the round. We had the 49ers getting a 31 points to 10 win over the LA Rams. This just didn't look like anything that we've seen from the LA Rams all year. Like, it just looked like a completely different squad.
Jimmy looked like young Jimmy though. Jimmy Garoppolo.
When he was
like a young stud,
about to force Tom Brady out of New England.
He was flexing. He was out there. He played super aggressive. It was really good to see. Rams again, like they're super competitive and they look really good. And then like they lose these games that they definitely shouldn't. And it seems to be happening more than not. Like I don't think it's been a really tough game and you're like, oh, okay, fair enough, they lost that. But like they're losing to teams that they should beat easily. Like very comfortably. And it's really worrying signs coming towards the back end of the season.
It's interesting though, because Garoppolo is like the boogie team for the LA Rams because he's got a 5-0 career against them too. So whether or not it's
They've been shit for most of that.
Yeah, but like he's 5-0, like you can't deny that though either.
Better than that.
Yeah.
This is why I reckon it really opens it up for the Chiefs at the end of the year, because not only have the Rams are losing the games that they should win, but the bloody the Ravens. Oh God! Scroll back up for me. You're gonna kill me if I can't.
Panthers.
No, keep going. The
Raiders?
Cardinals are gonna slip into this at the same time, like they're getting really close to slipping into a similar vein if they keep losing games that they should win. You know what I mean? Like they can get up for the big games, but you've got to put the other ones away. And like the Cardinals are close to slipping into that same way of thinking, I reckon, as what the Rams are in.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, so if we take a quick look at our conferences or our divisions, you can see, so like in the conferences in the AFC, it looks like the Titans have sort of secured it at this stage, and they've been probably the form team to take control of the AFC at the moment. They look like super good competitive team, and then underneath that you've got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Bengals, like that sort of group, and then even the Browns towards the end there, they're all in the same division. So that's a super hotly contested division, and we might see some teams like when we talked about, we had the tank division last year. We might see some teams that probably below 500 sneak in now.
Yeah.
Just because of that. Like it's the same thing where we're getting a whole bunch of teams from only a select few divisions panning out to show the other side. So yeah, Titans look like they're in cruise control at the moment. I mean, they got a 2-win lead and 1 loss over the Bills. So they definitely look like they're standout team at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is too is like it all depends on the divisions too. It's not so much the conference. It's like the divisions that are in, and they'll be fine where they are at the minute. So
yeah, well, the winner of the conference goes automatically through. So
yeah.
Just thought it'd be interesting. Sort of give us. We looked at divisions a couple of weeks ago now. It'd be interesting.
Well, look how low Philly are, and they'd make it based on the division.
Well, those 3 teams, Philly, Washington, and New York, are all in the same.
Yeah, and that was So I think it's definitely something that maybe needs to be looked at. I think the NBA did well to tweak it the way that they did.
Yeah.
Where they've still got divisions, but they don't use them as winners go through sort of thing. They've tweaked it at the right times, but like we said, we're looking at the conferences here, and like there's massive gaps.
I think that's the thing though. It's like the division sort of like almost ruins the way the playoffs run, because it's not based on like the top 8 or whatever in the conference. It's like the top 1 out of every division automatically goes through, and then second I think goes through as well. But yeah.
Yeah, so if we have a look at the playoff picture at the moment, so obviously there's still seven going with the teams that are in the hunt at the moment and on the bubble. So it's just interesting to see like teams like, for example, the Bengals sitting outside, just outside of that. But yeah, it'll be an interesting couple of weeks, see what happens as we move through.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Very good.
Well, I think that just about wraps up episode 60 of the Pick 199 podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch up with you next time.
See ya.
Cheers.
See ya.